Good afternoon and welcome back to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm your host, Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq. Joining me at MarketSite is Ted Bragg. He's the head of U.S. fixed income with Nasdaq. Ted, it's always great to see you.
Nice to see you. Big
day tomorrow, non-farm payrolls for August.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Everyone thinks it's a strong number. Around 200,000, 198 is headline, and the rate continuing to decline, down around 3.8. So we continue to get strong economic news. Even this morning, right? So we had a claims number, 209 for continuing claims. That's the lowest number in 50 years, since 1969.
Oh, wow.
So strong confidence numbers, strong manufacturing numbers, strong retail sales numbers. So the economy continues to cook.
So the expectations for the employment data tomorrow should be strong based
Absolutely.
on
Expectations are there already. We've got that priced in. The outlier will be a weak number.
Well, it's not even just employment data tomorrow. There's a lot of key macro events to watch this month.
Yes, and what we're watching is emerging markets. Mm-hmm. Is it a contagion or not, right? So it starts in Turkey, Argentina. Now we're getting weakness in South Africa, Brazil, South Korea. So is it a portfolio manager selling other emerging markets just to lighten up, or is there really something going on? And is it because of the strong dollar? Is it because of higher rates? Because of this unemployment number, will we factor in continuing high rates and that stronger dollar, and what does it mean for those economies? And then there's Brexit conversations, which continue to heat up. Tariffs, which have a huge effect on where trade's going to be and how that affects the emerging markets, which I think is really playing a big role in that volatility.
South Africa went into its first recession since 2009 this month, right?
Yes, so you've got other economies, and in the past, historically, the U.S. economy as a global recession leads everyone out. And I think people were looking for that. Okay, they'll lead it out, and will Europe follow? But well, wait a second. If emerging market countries aren't following, what is that tied to? And if you're going to get trade tariffs, what does that mean? Right. And how does that affect it?
So there's a lot of key dates, as we mentioned, coming up in September. What should investors be watching around? ECB has its rate decision coming out and a number of other factors.
Yeah, so there's some ECB conversations. U.S. Treasury supply, I think, is going to have to be a focus. End of the month, FOMC meeting, and hopefully I'll be back. We can talk a little bit about that, what expectations are. But right now, with tomorrow's number forecasted, that's baked in. So we have a rate rise in September, a rate rise in December. We've got an ECB meeting where they might pull back from their quantitative easing. I think there was a Canada decision and a UK decision and a Japanese decision around quantitative easing. So as all that pulls back, where is the natural rate of interest rates? What are the alternatives and where you're supposed to be invested? Where those rates have to be invested, are the decisions that have to be made. And I think that's maybe playing out to market's going to be steady until the end of the year, and then we need to see what's going to happen.
What about the risk of a potential government shutdown?
I'm glad you brought that up. I didn't think it was on everybody's radar. I had almost forgotten about it, and again, it showed up in the press this morning. At the end of this month, as a little bit of a political, how do we get things to work and not work, will the teaser be out there of, hey, we can shut the government down September 30th. The Republicans, I don't think, want to do that going into into the midterm elections, and that's the next catalyst, right? So if we're looking at a September rate rise, oops, they're going to have a potential for a government shutdown. Now you have the October events and other central banks, and we're going to have a November election. That's a lot of things that could happen in October that all of a sudden might get people off sides, want to play defense, move their positions around, allocation into safety, which I think is affecting the emerging markets.
It was interesting because I remember the market reaction with the last shutdown that we had a number of years ago, and the Republicans have been touting the impact of their policy on the stock market and the economy, so that's kind of a perfect storm there.
Yeah, it's a bad message to suggest that, and I don't think anyone, Mnuchin or anybody in the U.S. government wants to suggest that we can't pay our bills. They don't ever want to go there, but then also what does that show as we're trying to say that we've got enough money to pay all our bills, but instead of that, we can't come to a budget compromise and be able to fund ourselves.
All right, let's save the best for last. Lots of new stuff with Nasdaq fixed income.
Yeah, so thank you for helping me pitch it too. So yesterday we launched and we talked about our new DV01, dollar value of a basis point futures contract. Our market makers now are making markets, and it's an alternative to really have a very certain product where you can hedge your interest rate risk. So we look to expand on that, and that's trading on NFX. And next month, October, end of October, our Treasury platform, we're going to migrate it to the state-of-the-art Nasdaq Financial Framework matching engine And from that, we can launch new products, new protocols, and really look to grow into next year. So a lot going on in our business as well.
A lot going on. I'm sure we will have you on a lot of times over the next couple of months with everything going on in the macro space. Thank you so much for joining me at MarketSite. And thank you for joining me. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.